Yes. Welcome back to the mobile studio for the Maturity Project. I am your host, Chad Everett Broshears, or Sir Chad Everett Broshears to some. If you know, you know. Today's going to be an episode more about if you know, you know. So, okay. And how I pick my subjects about what to talk about is I just pay attention to what's going on and look for the underlying challenges that people are dealing with and just try to offer us, perspective to see if we can shift some things a little bit and give people a little more freedom for growth. Because the majority of people it's not that they don't want to grow, they don't feel free to grow. And they don't understand the consequences necessarily as a big picture for any aspect about themselves that they're hindering because the choice to be held back from growth. And I get it. There are definitely real world consequences to our actions, without a doubt. And you may be in a relationship with somebody that you want to grow and they don't, and you don't have a conversation. You just don't know how to, or you just don't have the ability to have a conversation to enroll them into growth, and your efforts to grow frighten them for the loss that could create for them, or your efforts to grow remind them of their own failures and growth, and they don't want to push themselves for that. And then you showing them and giving them a reminder just upsets them. There's a lot of reasons why partners will restrict us from growth. So that's there. You may be in maybe a professional thing for business or something, and you want to develop yourself and go further and take the next step and to become the next level of who you are in a profession. Take a big step. Instead of being an entry level, maybe you're looking for management or mid-level management or senior management or hell, even executive. But you just don't have the safety in your own mind about what it takes to actually get there, or the real world consequences are that the company really needs you to stay in the position that you're in because you fill the need for the company, and then they don't want you to grow because they don't have opportunity for you, or they don't see you fit for the next level, or whatever it might be. So my thing is not to take it personally necessarily, but yet I still like to take things personally, but I don't take it personally in a way that I want to attack or react in a way that's negative. I think it's the colloquial term, the method that we use, the don't take it personally, is the reason why I gave that statement. And this is the active and immediate exploration of a turn of phrase, and a placekeeper in a conversation that holds something of meaning, like saying don't take it personally. And I think it's actually, now with more depth of thinking, it's how you decide taking it personally affects you. So taking things personally, hell, you should take it personally. You should take it personal that you're not going to grow. You should take it personal that you're not going to achieve the things that you really want to achieve in life. Hell, even if you achieve what you want and you find out that it's not what you want, you've made progress. So if you've been there and you've done that and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that again. I've been there. I don't want to explore that again. Or, I've done something like this. I'm not interested. Well, you were a different person then. So bring it back. In any of the 8 areas of growth and development and maturity, you have the opportunity to grow. And I say take it personally that you haven't, wherever that is, or take it personally that you haven't achieved what you wanted to yet. Whatever it is, to put enough of that effort behind you to start making progress and put the efforts in. So as I've said many times, and I'll say again on this episode as well, that stress is tuition for the future you're creating. Now, that's to who you will become. Just the same as you pay tuition to go to college, you're paying that to get your degree, but you've got to go through the classes, you've got to go through the hardships of the courses, the stress that's there and all of that, and then the forcing yourself to learn something past your interests in that subject is very common. And because of saturation, you've got a lot of new information you haven't processed yet, now you feel like you're just stacking on top of it without the utility of that new information, and it leaves you with feeling overwhelmed or, just kind of capped out, and you just can't go further. But point of it is you pay that tuition with stress to create who you are, who you're going to be, and what your goals are. You have to have some stress values to get there. I don't know anybody that does it smoothly. And what you perceive as smoothly is a well-refined experience and method to get to what those goals are. So you don't know what they're in. You don't know how they were conditioned. You don't know their outlooks on life. Hell, things look easy for me, for a lot of people, but I've taken a hell of a lot of time to develop in such a way that I've become more functional in different environments and different situations. So, and I encourage you to take this direction as best you can to develop yourself into the person that you want to be. So that's what the Maturity Project stands for. I'm not going to make your life for you. You got to do that. But I'd like to give you some insights and guidance in a way that helps get you to see things in a way that you can grow from it, grow through things, and overcome challenges. So people won't necessarily want to see you be successful. Back on track here. They, for a multitude of reasons, some of them, that's where they want to be in life. So here's some of the challenges that people experience when they get into relationships of any type, really, business or any of the rest of it. But we'll specifically stick with the intimate type of relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, that kind of thing. So the reasons why people outgrow each other, it's very common for people to be passionately in love with each other, and then over time they become more like roommates with each other. They're paying bills together, they're occupying the same house, but their intimacy and their passion for each other dissipates over time. And there's a lot of reasons for that, and it takes work to keep things going, and a creativity to keep things going. Because creativity can excite that passion, but the concepts of just having to put in the work feels like a chore, and that can become itself something you resent. But what happens is that we don't really do this, right? Where we meet somebody and we're interested in dating them, we start to pique our interests in dating them. We get to the point where we are asking specific, superficial, and what we consider to be deeper questions, but they still fall in that superficial alignment. But we get to that point where we start asking the questions in the beginning of what specifically you want to experience. What are you after? What are your goals? What are your common interests? But we don't look at really the deeper value of those goals. What's it like to get there? What are you currently doing? And how active have you been in this? What has been your experience of the journey? Are you currently doing this, or this is just something that you wanted to do but you haven't taken action? Or you have taken action, but you're not right now. You can explore those variations and then see also, if you had to paint exactly for this moment what achieving your goals looks like, what would that be? How much money would you need? What kind of environment, what kind of house, if there's family, how many kids, what kind of family, do you have multiple family members that are not direct descendants, but maybe they're your siblings or, parents or something, or immediate or, distant family, whatever, living on the same property with you, get to understand really what they want, so that you can align and share where you are with them. You see, these are the things that make it interesting, but also might come across as odd. This isn't part of the normal dating playbook. And perhaps that's what I should call each one of the areas when I do the introductions and give some sort of structure to achieving your goals. Maybe I should call it the playbook for each one of the areas of maturity. Yeah, that might work. We'll see. Probably, it very well might be. I don't know. Anyway, or blueprint. I don't know. We'll see. But the point of it is that once you understand how to start talking in a way that's really meaningful, it also will help you weed out people that don't align with you. So if they're like, hey, this is kind of a weird lineup and I'm not really into it, fantastic. If this is the way you think, don't hinder the way you think to satisfy your immediate urges and needs. Now, if you need to satisfy your immediate urges and needs, make the relationship mean that. No, but try not to allow it to get convoluted, because if you do make it mean that, you increase the chances of connecting emotionally. That emotional connection could eventually end up being an emotional anchor to get you to not pursue your own life goals, and then end up in a situation where, yeah, now you've become roommates and you don't know how you got there. If you can't talk about your day with your partner when you get home, or talk throughout the day about what's going on, and to be able to exchange the experiences and be able to really connect through those conversations about everything going on in life, then there's a pretty good chance you're going to stale out. And staling out, man, that sucks. I know a lot of people in relationships, they've staled out. They're not satisfied, they're not happy. It seems like their paths have become divergent. Now, excuse me, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing either, because sometimes we just outgrow our partners, and it's okay if that's happened. But it's, if you really have made promises to be there, like, marriage vows, things like that, to death do us part, those kind of things, that means work through it all. But unfortunately, a lot of us aren't mature enough to make that declaration at a younger stage, because of whatever, immaturity, gives us access to thinking and projections about the future. But to take action on things is to best know yourself and to do work on yourself. And if you let your partner know, or the person that you're meeting and you're considering, that you're actively working on yourself and actively growing, and this is a regular thing for you, which I highly encourage. That's what the Maturity Project is intended to create whenever you do take part of it, is to create a regular, daily, active routine of growth, but giving you the parameters to work inside of, so you can identify the areas that are weaknesses. And instead of focusing on your strength to just get better, you know how to apply effort into your weakness as well, so that you can stay well-rounded. So you just come up with, this is what I want to accomplish. And you can help other people understand it. But you only can go as far as you're aware. And then making these bonds with people, and same thing with work. You make the bonds with people at work, and with the business itself, for the ownership, for the company, for their mission. You are saying, I'm going to be a part of this. I'm going to help you develop this company and this brand, and be loyal to it in a way that helps it grow, not just give me a paycheck. There's a distinction between a paycheck and a career employee. Is a paycheck's there for the paycheck, man. That's it. 40 hours, they're out, or whatever their hours are required, they're out. Extra effort, not really there unless it's rewarded by money, typically. Not really interested in the career opportunities, growth in the business, or, whatever. It's just not there. Or it might be just whatever. If it happens, cool, but there's really not a lot of proactive effort to develop yourself into the business. Being a business owner, and to also work in a company that's accelerating in its growth, there's a lot of, you got to adapt and keep growing. We identify people like that and look for them for the next opportunities to help the company itself grow. Because you got to find the right people. And the right people is not just their current aptitude as their intellectual capacity and their work ethics, but also their mindset and their growth ethics. So I'm big on growth ethic. What are you up to? So if you really want to be able to break through this stuff, start understanding, you need to do the work, so that you can communicate where you're at, better understand where the hell you're at. People get further when you have a team working with you, because you can share resources and change the perspectives based off of, everybody's position, and how they can, really articulate where they're at. And that's a beautiful thing about having a diverse mindset. I don't care for this whole diversity and ethical and diversity and skin tone and all that. I think it's an absolute fucking lunacy, and it's an absolute divisive method to separate people and put them into tribal positions. But I'm a big advocate for diversity in thinking. It is very dangerous to force people into to thinking the same way you do, because you'll eventually stale out. And people that are stale are bored. And people that are bored get up to mischief, and mischief typically causes problems for other people, and eventually that creates, disagreements, to fights, to, escalation of issues. But when you can be comfortable with having people that see things differently than you're in a good spot. because you and keep those relationships alive by sharing your common interest and goals so that you can work together. But you don't need to agree on everything. So that, God, please, I hope that that's not the way that you are. And if it is, it's time to change that. So, some of my best friends do not think like me. They're thinkers, and they're great thinkers. They think like me, like that, but they don't think with the same perspectives, and their goals are different than mine. Although we both have, all of us have, real interest in growth and achieving great things in life, we have different paths we're on, and we have different perspectives about those paths, and we share that stuff and grow. And I encourage that. And it stays consistent. So my best friends are those people, and that's one of the reasons why they're my best friends, because they are driven to grow and they want to see others be successful. So share on that. So, all right. So as far as the relationship things go, there's a lot of reasons why they go stale. And if it does go stale and you can't repair it, then you really need to look at what your next step is. Do you grow miserable with this person, or do you take effort into changing things so that you don't grow miserable? So I've got a lot of stuff that I'm going to be, just opening up about on this channel over time. I've got all 8 areas. I'm going to do an in-depth exploration of my own life. It's where I do the, my once a week with guests. I will be exploring stories about what it's taking, what I've gone through and what I learned in those lessons, and what was the experience of a lesson. Did I get beat up in the process, right? Some instances physically beat up, especially when I went into martial arts. But we're growing up with being one of 6 boys, not all at the same time, same household, but whatever. Lots of fights. Physically, I got my butt beat. I got beat up pretty good. So I may tell stories about that. There's going to be some pretty interesting and in-depth conversations about every area of life. Like, why did I get into the fitness industry in the first place? What was it that I anticipated, throughout time, and how things changed in the different training methods that I've used, and what was the intended outcome and application, and when did I, the timelines that I did it just so that I could try to draw in the opposite sex, and when did I do it for something different? What did that do with my goals, and also with my manifestation of those goals? Like, how was my body transforming? That kind of stuff. My growth in the community, and how I worked with people and developed relationships of meaning, so that I could give some contribution socially through the community maturity aspects. And then my development of my cognition, my mindset, the way that I've learned how to memorize and problem solve, and find interest in things, and curiosity, and why I make a hard stop on when people tell me that I'm intelligent. Why I have a hard stop on that, and make the declaration: what you witness is curiosity over some sort of gifted mindset, some sort of gifted position or ability. So you'll find out a lot of those things by joining in on those episodes, as well as I'll do that during these types of videos as well. Sexuality, and an in-depth experience of, and how I got to where I am now, and what specifically are my preferences, and how I am in that world, with stories that go with it. Obviously, I won't give names to the individuals that were involved, but other than myself. But it's like, let's share those stories, which that has an interesting degree of caution for me, but willing to let go of the look good and just be a fully transparent person. So business, and how I've gotten into that, and how I've had multiple businesses that have had their own unique successes and failures, and ultimately what happened with them. Finance, and how that is my experience of finance, and what I've done to correct some of my inherited beliefs and conditioned understandings of money. Emotions, and how I've managed to develop those through life's experiences, and matured myself in a way that becomes noteworthy when dealing with emotional challenges, and how new challenges have created some interesting experiences in my emotions, and what I understand about them, and how challenging and frustrating they can be to develop. And then obviously my spirituality, and how I've gone through organized religion into non-organized religion into non-religion at all, and my time as an atheist, and our declaration and positioning of atheism, and then where I am now, and I'll just share that journey. It's I'm not telling everybody that what I've done is right nor wrong. It's just to tell the stories and see what kind of inspiration can come out of that, and what kind of creative and constructive conversations follow. So this is coming. I've already started lining up guests for this. Another interesting thing about it is the intention for these particular videos is to have a conversation on these specific subjects, sober, and then another conversation after. So we'd take a break after the sober conversation, probably do dinner or something, and then partake with some alcohol and things, and just to really bring into a different perspective. We all do this stuff. If you drink, you shift perspectives based off of what happens when you drink alcohol and the way you rationalize things. And that's an intention for this as well, to help give something that'll also have entertainment value, I'm certain, because I'm not exactly a stale person restricted to just sitting in a seat or driving while I'm doing videos. And that's something that I'll have my guests be aware of. We're going to touch on 8 different areas, or that we have the possibility of touching on 8 different areas. And live chat, stuff like that. I've got one of my best friends already said, hey, if I can drink and and do the video, then I'm all in, man. You tell me and I'll be there. So this is one of my probably, it's one of my most successful best friends. This guy is awesome. But I have other people too that great degrees of success, and this is my friend. Is incredibly successful in business, and he's also pretty successful in finance. But business is a noteworthy area of his growth and development that I admire, and we'll definitely talk about that and his work ethic and how he's developed it and where he is, and then get into the drinking portion of it. So that'll be fun. So, but look for it; it's coming. I will. I'll announce when we're going to do the first one, schedule it, or at least I'll announce it after it's recorded, so that there's no real chance that there would be an issue with its release. But look for these things. I'm creating that space of complete transparency for the betterment of everyone. And getting rid of the look good, getting rid of the challenges that come with putting on a facade so people don't reject you. And just being fully transparent. So that's coming. And that's something that I would like to be able to encourage other people to find their own freedom through transparency. I get it. It's going to take time, especially the more layered we are with worry that other people will reject us. It just takes time, man. But for me, on the other side of that is an incredibly fulfilling opportunity in life to truly feel like you're alive. And I've been experiencing that so much. So, all right. Well, with that, that's pretty much it for today. Just to be able to get with who you truly are, understand that people change over time, and holding them to the promises they've made previously. You don't know why they made those promises. Even if they told you, you still don't really know why they made those promises, because what we say is typically backed by specific beliefs. And we don't always share our beliefs. The belief that one day you're going to leave me. So I'm going to tell you what's necessary for you to really see that I'm not worth leaving, that I love you, or that I want you to be here. And, I need you to not leave me. So I'm going to make specific statements because I feel emotionally coerced by my fears. Because that's very common, being emotionally coerced by your own fears. That's a regular daily thing for nearly everyone. I still experience it too, but I have to deal with it whenever it comes up and say, all right, cold shower moment, man. You step into that cold water, you just deal with it. It will get better, and it'll do it fairly quick, but you gotta expose yourself to it. That's where I go with it. Just get in it. Just get in it and see what happens. And in my experience so far has been actually quite rewarding, because that emotional coercion out of fear starts to lose its grip on me. Though I hope to express that to the point that you can take it on for yourself as well. So stay tuned to this channel, subscribe to it, hit the bell notification so you know whenever these are going live, and you'll have it, an update in your email to let you know, as well as probably a pop-up on your phone, just to give you the heads up, hey, this video is now up. Like this video to help me with the algorithm so people can discover it easier. Also, by you subscribing increases that, and you sharing the video with somebody you want to break the ice with also helps with not only exposing this person you want to break the ice with and start a conversation of meaning, but also the algorithm sees that it's being shared, which means that it becomes more important, which means that they will likely move it up or boost it, in their own way for their own needs to be able to get more exposure to help them with their business model, YouTube. But I'm an advocate for a lot of them, but I won't go to digress any further. I'll give those other channels in time. This is how we really create a movement of meaning. And whatever you do after you've started this is, that's you, man. I don't own any of it. So come with me in the journey for growth. I'd love to have other people be companions of growth, doing their own thing, and really sharing in the opportunity to change this world in a way that really leaves us all fulfilled, in a way that we feel like we don't need to take from others in order to get ahead, but we can build with others to do it. That's what I really want to create with us. So join me in that effort. We got a world to address, man, but we really got to work on ourselves first, and we need to do it in a way that we understand who we are, because the path to hell is paved with good intentions, and right now our society is geared to create a freaking express way to get there. We got to break that pattern. Narcissism is a thing that we've got bred into us. Social media does this to us, inflates our sense of self-worth, makes us more divisive, and attack each other for the lightest of reasons without understanding things, quick to react, slow to listen, those kind of things. So, all right, till next time, I'm your host, Chad Ever Broshears, or search Chad Ever Broshears to some. If you know, you know. And if you stay tuned, you'll find out why. And this is the Maturity Project. Let's get to it. All right, guys. See ya.